This weekend with double XP along with some tokens and quad XP, all my tokens, I leveled the TAC 50 from 30 to 400 as well as the LVOA from level 50 to 400. I wanted to talk about the camo grind and leveling. I'm now 8 out of 21 as far as the level 400 weapons go. Snipers were pretty rough with the flinch, current lack of footstep audio, and seemingly everybody in their 3, 4 or more stacked parties of players who only play this game and only use meta weapons. It felt like I had to luck up in terms of opponents, situations with them not looking at me, and hitting my shots on top of that. I was going to do marksman rifles, but the LVOA felt like a treat to use what I deemed to be a fun gun after slogging through sniper levels. I figure I can just start playing with marksman rifles next. I have all 4 necessary ARs 400 now. I'll save SMGs as another treat for later. I have 2 out of 4 of those. I'll probably do the MP5 and maybe the PP19. That's what I'm guessing. I might do the P90, but honestly I think I prefer the other 2, so we'll just have to see. This got me thinking. Hopefully weapon XP for objectives comes soon, and hopefully they're not skimp with it. I see so many people complain about people on their team avoiding the objective, and honestly, I'm tired of playing TDM. This game just flows better on objective modes, and as a solo player who can't control everywhere my teammates are on the map, the spawns are just easier to read on objective modes. All weekend I was constantly playing against players who would run around the map together, giving me flashbacks to playing Warzone solo quads or something. The advantage of playing in a party is so massive, especially when it's so much easier to go on streaks when assists count towards the streak as well. I bet you there's a ton of solo players whose experience is getting ruined just by getting stomped by parties. At the end of the day, there's plenty scenarios where a team is so coordinated, the only way to counter it is by having a coordinated team yourself. There's nothing that one single player can do about it. I just leave the lobby. That might sound bad, but at the end of the day, if I'm out at a bar and 4 people try to attack me, I'm gonna run away. That's literally like jumping somebody and saying, "Oh, I beat his ass," or dropping GHB in somebody's drink and bragging that you got laid, diddy face ass. That's what the spider bot, prox mines, flashbangs, and firebomb all feel like. They feel like they're the roofie of FPS gaming. At least on objective-based mode with weapon XP for objective, I would feel more incentive to stay in the match rather than feeling like I'm playing some hide-and-seek with guns looking for people that are all hiding together holding angles. There's nothing more annoying than having a token count down while the whole enemy team's hiding from you together. I think that I'm going to make the most of the double XP weekends and everything, but I'm going to pace myself on this camo grind. It would be a shame to basically force myself to play in ways that I don't enjoy, on modes that I don't enjoy, aka camping on team deathmatch to go on streaks, hoping that I get footsteps when somebody's flanking me to use firebomb while I'm on a 15 streak. It literally got to the point where I would just run around the map looking for players and either pop off or not. It was like there's no in between. I was not going to sit there and just wait for players to walk into my crosshair, which is what I feel like a lot of the opponents were doing. Combine this with constantly having multiple teammates beside them at all times, one of them is bound to get a kill and one of them's bound to get an assist at the very least. Nothing wrong with playing with friends, don't get me wrong, but the game heavily favors playing in groups compared to playing solo. Think about it from a business standpoint. 15-year-old Jimothy and Timothy who play together are going to feel more pressured to make purchases in the game when one or the other gets a cool new skin. It's kind of like little Sally getting bullied at school because she doesn't have a real Stanley Cup. Or Johnny not having real Jordans, he's got Skechers. Team Deathmatch has always been a campy mode in every single FPS game at the end of the day, but no footsteps doesn't really help. The objective is to die less than you get kills. That said, the way that kills and assists add up for weapon XP makes it so much more efficient than any other mode, to the extent that you feel like you're missing out when you're playing what I would consider the best modes in the game, the objective modes. I think even though if you were looking at it from a competitive standpoint, not every player on the team's supposed to be on the objective at the same time, I would rather have that than have people just running around playing extended time, chase your best kill record on modes like Occupy. You know those players allergic to the objective and they're also going negative KD. I think that if they give a healthy amount of weapon XP for objective play, it'll improve the health of the game, even to the extent of educating some players of how important it is to play the objective. Somebody's got to do it. I think for all the players it'll be a net positive because the flow of the game will improve and weapon XP will feel better as well. I'm doing this whole camo grind under the impression that the game will still be here in a year from now, so I'm hoping that I'm not proven wrong. The way that the grind is designed, it's clearly not meant to be done in one weekend, and that's perfectly fine. This also brings up the question which I've seen some other people pose. Should there occasionally be double XP events that are not just on the weekends? Such as a week during the holidays or whatever, maybe Thanksgiving. Not everybody is available on the weekends. Some people have to work. The game's designed to make money, and the people with jobs are going to be able to buy more things in the store than people with mommy's credit card. Unless the game is capable of getting tons of them, like Fortnite. I don't know what it is, but Team Deathmatch just doesn't feel really good right now in my opinion. And I feel like everybody who's like super glazing, they're just in stacked parties and stomping on people. It's easier to not worry about footsteps when you constantly have two other players in your back pocket jumping around the corner the moment that you get in a gunfight. It's like Jack Doherty walking around with his bodyguard talking shit to people. Like I said, I can't blame you for playing with friends, but you can't blame me for backing out of the lobby when I see what it is. If there was a mercenary mosh pit, I would be playing that. If there was a free-for-all, I would be playing that. So I guess in some people's opinion, I probably shouldn't even be playing. I guess the game needs more people to quit. That right there is how players move on from the game. When you have legitimate concerns and voice them and people say things like, "Don't like it, don't play it." People who do that and then game companies wonder why they fail. Look at Battlefield 5 when they had the trailer and they said to the players, "We don't want you to play our game," or something like that. Look at how Ubisoft previously said something to the tune of, "Players need to get used to not owning their games." Now people are saying things like, Ubisoft needs to get used to people not buying their games. It's funny how that stupid elitist mentality comes back every single time to bite people in the ass. Just like the people gatekeeping this game will be the same people acting surprised if it does go under. I just made this video because I want to highlight the importance of making a mode that might be many people's favorite feel valid in terms of time spent grinding. I'm fully aware that this is a free-to-play game and that maybe the camo grind is tedious on purpose to make people just want to buy a skin in the store instead. There's been plenty of design decisions that I disagree with, and there will be plenty more in the future, I'm sure. If I just wanted to stop playing the game, I would just stop playing it. I know there will be a small few of people who either have the pyroclastic camo or are way closer to it themselves who feel special because they got it before everybody else and want the grind to be just as hard for everybody else. That's like a parent not using their resources to give their kid a better life because they want them to have it just as hard as they did. I'm not talking about spoiling somebody, giving them unlimited access to whatever they want. I'm talking about a parent purposely not paying for their kid's school or doing something just out of ego's sake. This is basically the opposite of evolution. It's the same mentality that prevents positive change. It's a crab in the barrel mentality, to be honest. Eventually what winds up happening is certain things will become an exclusive club of a few that nobody outside of really gives a shit about. The same way that 5% of the players care about ranked mode or competitive gaming is similar to how this is. People who don't want other people to have nice things that they have just because they had to work harder for it are the reason why communities die or remain small. Literally the opposite of inclusion. Not that I'm out here rallying for participation trophies. I just personally feel like in its current state, TDM plays like shit with very little to no footsteps on majority of the maps. Ironically, the map with the best footsteps right now I think is Echelon. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, consider subscribing to hear more in the future. I hope everybody has a great week and hopefully I catch you on the next one. Take it easy.